What is going on, everyone? Figured I'd jump on real quick and kind of break it down some things that people don't really talk about, actually. So, there's this thing called the 50-30-20 rule. Some people might call it the 50-20-30 rule. It just really depends on your frame of reference or what kind of more disposable income that you actually have. So, typically, the 50-30-20 rule is you'll have 50% of essentials like your rents, insurance, food, that sort of thing. And then obviously, well, not obviously, but 30% are more wants, or savings is 20%. And that can be flip-flopped. That could be 20% wants and 30% savings. But as you actually make more money, these numbers change. So your essentials become a smaller percentage, and your income for reinvesting actually becomes a larger percentage. And depending on when you watch this video, I've actually have Taylor Welch coming on the show tomorrow to discuss all sorts of investments and net worth and everything that is amazing about just wealth. And definitely want to check that out. But these numbers change, but this is a good rule of thumb when you're just starting out, especially if you don't have a lot of money. If you're able to essentially put 50% of your essentials, of your income towards essentials, 20% towards savings, and 30% towards wants, it just allows you a lot more opportunities to pay off debt. And the thing I like about savings being more of a 30% is you actually use that savings to pay off debts. That could be student loans, that could be credit cards, that could be store credit, transportation debt, so like your car loans, leases, all that sort of thing. So these are essential to kind of following this rule of thumb. And it is a rule of thumb because it is not exact for everyone, but it's a good kind of framework for people to actually use to understand how money works. So I know that a lot of people want to live that YOLO lifestyle. You only live once, who cares about money and blah, 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 blah. But it's actually like the number one thing for divorce and puts a lot of stress on people. So I think that a lot of people need to understand how money works and how you can manage your finances a lot better. So I come across this all the time, and a lot of gurus do this. They typically, as they make more money, they spend more money on things to make them look rich instead of actually investing in things that make them money. They buy fancy cars, they buy fancy clothes, and as they increase their income, their expenses go up. And I think that's just a horrible way of doing things, because if, say for instance, that income stream dries up, then you're essentially shit out of luck, because now you have all of these expenses and no income. And it's funny because I see a lot of people buy these fancy cars, this like really expensive house, and then you look at Dan Locke. He rents, and he bought this he didn't buy. He rents this like a $30 million house that isn't his, and he just lost his actual. He's being sued by the landlord because he talked about how he owns this $30 million house, which isn't his, but like he could never afford the property tax and all these different things. So they just buy things to make them look rich instead of actually being wealthy. And so that's why I wear the same kind of clothes all the time. That's why I drive a Prius. I own 10 rental property units before I ever actually bought my own house. So I'll get into that in a little bit at the end of this, but definitely want to show you guys like how you can manage your money a lot better. So it's funny because everyone knows how to lose weight. It's like two simple steps. It's eating healthy and then exercising. Like that's really the grand scheme of things. But we have a obesity epidemic, and besides the epidemic, quote unquote, that's going on, or pandemic, I don't know, that's going on right now. So like it's the same with like managing your finances. It's like 3 easy steps to getting out of debt. Most people live paycheck to paycheck, and it's very, very sad, because I see it all the time. People just can't afford their bills, they can't afford their rent, whatever the case is. And like it's literally 3 easy steps to get out of debt. Like reduce your expenses, make more money, and pay off the debts that you have. Like that's really all you need to do. Like once you actually reduce your expenses, live more frugal, make more money, and then pay off your debts, you're going to free up your cash flow to actually make more money. And well, make more money, because it's not going towards expenses. And if you're able to utilize that money to reinvest into income producing assets, you're gonna be pretty well off. And like people understand this, and I mean, it's a very basic like system, but it's people say it's harder than you think, and it's not. It's really, I mean, it's 3 steps. If we go back to right here, the 50-30-20 rule, like you're paying your essentials, but like if you want to pay them faster, you just obviously reduce your wants, reduce your essentials, and increase your savings to pay off all your debt. And so like that's really it. Like you don't need to live in a fancy house and have a fancy car, because that's essentially increasing your wants and not allowing you to make enough money. So like decide on your lifestyle. Like depending on, like you don't need to have a beachfront house property when you're barely getting by, because then you're living paycheck to paycheck. And I actually didn't own my own house until we owned 10 rental units. Like I always paid myself first, because I wanted to make enough money to have pretty much all my passive income pay for my lifestyle. We just bought a house. Like I'll show you in a second. Like at the end of this, actually, I'll show you the house that we're building. But like this is my car. Like I have a little Prius. It actually pays me money every single day, because I rent it out to people because I work from home. And I've actually included a video in the show notes, or in the notes below, or somewhere around here. You can definitely check that out, of how I actually reduce my expenses and make more money from my car, and a bunch of other ways, and how I'm able to live so frugal but still make a substantial amount of money. For instance, we just went to New Orleans last week, and none of that we actually had to really come out of pocket, because everything that we pay for is on credit cards. We pay them off every single month, and we're able to use the points that we get from our credit cards to get free travel, to get free hotels, to increase our credit score, pretty much everything. Because if we're able to use our credit card and pay it off every single month, we're really getting free points. And you learn little tips like calling the banks when they charge you the annual fee, and be like, hey, can you just waive it for this year? And they typically do. And just because you just ask them. And it's it takes me maybe 15 minutes to call them and tell them, hey, can you waive this $97 fee, or this $297 fee? And they usually do. And that's like pretty much making $297 or $97 every 30 minutes, because you're literally just negotiating your bills. I mean, we'll get into the tools I use in a moment here. But like these are things you guys can do to really leverage your credit, can leverage points, and go on free vacations. And I definitely, you know, definitely check out the show notes because I include how I get on free vacations, be able to take a week in New Orleans, but that's a whole different blog. So definitely check that out. So how do you actually start budgeting? So you start by reducing your expenses. Like start reducing your phone bill. Like you shouldn't be watching really TV streaming services. Start negotiating down your insurance. Start negotiating down your cable bill. Or actually eliminate your cable bill. Eliminate your streaming services because they're not needed. There's so much great content on YouTube that you can get for free to learn new skills to make more money. The more money you can make and the more you can reduce your expenses, the more cash flow you're going to have to pay off your debt or to reinvest into income producing assets. Live frugal. I mean, like I showed you, I have a little Prius. It is pretty awesome, and I work from home. So it's making me money every single day. Like I said, I wear the same stuff all the time because it's funny because my wife actually has to buy clothes for me in a sense. Like she uses like our credit card, but she's like, you need new clothes, and I'm just like, I don't care because I'm not really there to impress people. And I know, like in the very beginning of this, we talked about YOLO, you only live once, but I live every single day and I enjoy my life. So I'm not really here to impress people in general. I care about like what I'm doing and how I can enrich other people's lives. And if they care about the watch I wear, which I don't have any watches, I think my ring is like $300, but my wife has a Tiffany's ring because she deserves it. So it's I don't really care about expensive stuff. I'd rather invest in memories or just things in general that are lifelong. So like we went to New Orleans, like I said, and just last week, I mean, we've been to Dubai, Tahiti, we've been to Hawaii, I've been to like 15 different countries. So I'd rather have those experiences than having a new watch. So, and then obviously use the savings when we go back to those savings. If you're using your savings as a 30% or 20%, making sure you're paying off your debt and paying off bad debt. Things like student loans, credit cards, store credit, your car loan. Obviously, my car loan makes me money, but not everyone does that. So actually, I don't have a car loan, but these are things you want to make sure you're paying off. And like use tools. Like I use, for instance, Truebill, which actually linked in the links below, and Mint. If you can reduce your expenses, as you can see here, decreased my subscriptions by $738, and my utilities have decreased by 1,000. That's a pretty good, decent amount of money. Also, looks like my insurance for Allstate is a little high. My Verizon bill is a little high, and my Progressive insurance is a little high. Obviously, I have different ones because I own real estate and then where we live. So I can't have the same, and they don't really work that way. But Truebill will actually take those and talk them down and reduce those expenses for you. So definitely very, very smart to look into those. I also use Mint. Mint will break down kind of the categories of what you're spending your money on. If it's entertainment, like transportation, health, home, travel, food, shopping, whatever that is, it's a good way to be able to get a visual representation of kind of where your money's going. If you don't know where your money's going, like you're just going blind. And I think that a lot of people just don't understand how money works. So if you can really just focus on where your money's going, see it, and not going blind, then you can kind of figure out where you need to reduce your expenses and where you can kind of adjust them so that you're paying off bad debt. We actually have a lot of good debt, but it's still debt regardless. And my goals are actually to, we just bought a house, and I'll go over that in a moment here, but pay off all of our rental properties. And I know that just reduces our kind of rate of return, but being able to have that peace of mind for me is super important. So in the grand scheme of things, your return on investment is not the best because you have that peace of mind. And it's different for everyone. But for me, peace of mind outweighs just having that stress of having that constant debt over your shoulders. So, I mean, as much as I love incurring debt, and I'm coming up to almost $1 million in debt for real estate, which I love because it's actually making me more money than if I didn't have that debt. And we make a lot of money, and I'll show you in a second here about my real estate investments. But like having that and versus having that cash flow, ultimately it's going to make us more money, freeing up that debt and then reinvesting and doing it again. So as you can see here, we have, well, I actually don't have $1 million in debt. I forgot. I have a 1.1, almost $1.2 million in assets. I probably have closer to a couple $100,000 in debt, but we're buying our house, so that's going to add a lot more debt to this. So once that happens, it's actually going to increase a lot more. So, and I'll show you the house that we're buying, but our real estate makes us a great deal of money. As you can see here, I make about, and this is after repairs, our actual property manager taking out his fees, everything that is taken out, this is like the final income that we get. So like not hurting whatsoever. And it's probably more money that most people make in general. But this is just one income stream. But once we add our property, like these properties are actually paying us a lot more than if I didn't have them. So that's why you should definitely pay yourself first and focus on reducing your expenses and making sure that you're able to always reinvest your income. If you're constantly in debt, you're not going to be able to pay yourself first. So in the grand scheme of things, always make sure that you pay yourself first. So as I said previously, definitely this is the house we're buying. It's new construction. We just bought it. It's as you can see, like they just put in the electrical, they put in the windows, they put in the roof. Now they're putting it on the exterior. So I'm super excited. And we wouldn't be able to really purchase this if it wasn't for investing and paying ourselves first. So I'm very excited. I can't wait to give you guys an update about this. It's going to be pretty epic. So definitely like and subscribe to this. I definitely want to keep you guys up to date on everything that we're doing. And I'm very excited to have you guys kind of join in this journey with me. So that's it, guys. I believe that's it. Oh, besides, is there any alternatives for the 50-30-20 rule? Yes, you can do envelopes and put money into your cash into these envelopes, but like that's a super old school method. And we already have things like that I showed you guys earlier, like Mint, like truebill.com, all these things you guys can definitely utilize. Sure, you can put them in envelopes and do it the old school method, but there's so many better ways to kind of manage your money. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoy this, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.